Hey, welcome. Brent Edmonds here with the Academy. Um, right now, you're doing a parents course, and you're probably thinking, why a parents course? I mean, what does anything have to do with the parents? Well, the whole goal behind the Academy program is to create better baseball, and I'm just not talking from you know my experience. Well, it is all my experience. But I see it even when we go to games like tournaments. You see the other teams, and I like look around and I see some of these parents just yelling, screaming, doing all these different mannerisms and antics. I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm glad my parents aren't like that. And I mean, some of them are ruthless. Some of the things that they say, and I just don't think there's any room in the game for any of that. And I mean, just think about it. I mean, think about today's day and age. Mental health is a big thing, and you're talking about potentially degrading, well, not degrading, but belittling 18-year-olds, even younger. As you can see, I got my son right here. He's just focused on his little tablet with his headphones. I mean, he probably wants to say hi. Hey, Rylan, say hi.
Hi.
Hi. See, they are us. Okay. So whatever mannerisms that we have, whatever we do, they are a reflection of us. So I mean, we can't even really get mad at them if they do something and we do it. I mean, they saw it from us. So I'm just going based off of things that I've seen, and just how we watch the game. I mean, you got parents that are gonna yell and scream. You're gonna have those quiet parents that are potentially brewing up because some reason, just trying to build up all the information that they can. And then you got the parents that truly understand the game, and I mean, they're going to be the ones that teach their son and ask them, like, what did you do to not play today? Did you not practice hard? What do you got to do better to get on the field? And then the other two categories are just blaming. And we can't have that in the game, and just even in life. I mean, just think about it. We as coaches are trying to set up these young men to be exactly that, become young men. It doesn't matter what age it is. They could be. We could come across them at 10 years old. But the whole sole purpose, if we stick around with them, is to build them up to be good young men, and to be able to go out into the workforce. I mean, because think about it, you can't do the fighting for them forever. You can't do the talking with them forever. And I mean, just think about your workplace right now. Can your parents keep going in and talking to your boss for you? No. First of all, what's your boss going to think when mommy and daddy come in to talk to him about you not getting that promotion? Right? Everything's a competition. You got to teach them competition. Okay? In order to compete, you must work hard, right? I mean, that's the first number one thing about competition is working hard, outworking your opponent to get what you want. And you can't just keep handing things to everybody, especially your child. Yeah, I mean, can you spoil a child? Yes. I'm not opposed to spoiling. But you got to teach them hard work in the same process. Reward them for the good. Punish for the bad, okay? I mean, not like bad punishment, but I mean, enough to get the message across. Something within means. So, I mean, how are we watching the game? That's my question. Is how are we watching the game? Are we yelling, just looking for every little thing to blame? Or are we actually watching and enjoying? Because you only get a little bit of time to watch your son or your daughter play at this age. So sit and enjoy it. Even if they're not playing, are they being a good teammate? Teach them to be a great teammate. Coaches love that. Because, we watch every single player. I mean, this past season, I was watching a lot of the parents too. And just trying to get a gauge on them and their happiness level. And, I mean, you can read their body language. That's one thing I got on my list is body language. You can tell a lot by body language. Are they disappearing, or when they come back? Are they interacting well? Like, how are you interacting well? Right? How are you interacting when you're with your players, with your son or daughter, with the coaches, with the other parents, with the umpires, with potential scouts, once you get to that point? How are we interacting with them? And I got a little story. This one parent this past summer, she did all her talking through email, and it was all about playing time and the positions. They were unhappy that her son was playing, but he was playing a position he doesn't play. Okay, so I started sitting on. I mean, what else did you want? He was on the field, and anytime that she would have an opportunity to talk to me, face to face, she wouldn't do it. Or if we did talk, she'd never bring it up. She had all these opportunities to bring it up, just never would. And her son, the entire summer, first off, he missed 8 out of 10 winter practices, didn't make his high school team, and got lazy, actually put on a lot of weight and became more unathletic than what he was. Well, I mean, he was pretty athletic, but he lost a lot of athleticism, and he was texting in the dugout. When he would get taken out of a game, he would go sit at the end of the dugout, or if he wasn't playing, sit at the end of the dugout away from everybody, pretty much pouting. His mom would be the first one he would look at when he got pulled out, because he was trying to look for an excuse on why it happened. So, I mean, like, he was taught that. He was taught to act that way with a little sense of entitlement because he didn't work hard. And there was nothing I could do when you didn't show up to practice, right? What am I supposed to do if your hitting's not up to par, if you're not producing, or you're 3 steps too slow from getting that fly ball, or you're not blocking the ball when you get the opportunity to catch, or you make a couple errors, and none of that falls on us. And as coaches, a lot of us, we get a lot of blame. Okay, we take a lot of blame. I mean, we're used to it. It's tiring. It's annoying. It is, because a lot of times you can see the product on the field when they're not competing, and that's basically that's what I had this year. They got unhappy because we went like 1 in 14 in the tournaments that we played in, or 1 in 15 or something like that. They weren't competing though. We had great practices in the winter. The year before we had a pretty decent year, pretty decent summer, and we never fed off it. We didn't compete. I mean, we lost a few players, but we picked up a few. But we kept majority around, and they just didn't go out and do the same thing that they did the year before and compete. And that was our downfall. I mean, I know it's easy to blame the coaches, but you also got to look at, how are they competing and gelling on the field together? And there was really no excuse, because all these guys, they grew up together and they played together. They knew each other. There was no reason not to gel quickly and compete and push each other quickly. But yeah, that was just a quick, well, not really a quick little story, but a story about, where this past summer, where your sense of entitlement came in and kind of bit a little bit, because we didn't do the communication thing, especially with your coach. And the biggest thing was, he said that we had an app. It's called TeamSnap, and you can click your availability. And every single week it said he was going to be there, and he showed up to 2 practices out of 10. I mean, there's nothing I can do about that. And there's nothing I can do if you're not going to try to compete. We can give you the tools to win, but we cannot teach your competitiveness and your heart. So real quick, I'm going to switch over. Also, a lot of coaches joke about this, but the seating chart, I don't know if many of you have seen it. Maybe you haven't. Maybe this is the first time. But it's actually pretty true. I'm going to put it up for like a minute. And, I mean, us as coaches, we have rules, especially around the dugout. And leaving the dugout, like that same player, that's another thing he would do. Outside of texting his girlfriend in the dugout, he would leave the dugout, go hang out with his mom, and chat with his mom. For whatever reason, who knows. And they would always either be sitting right in here, I don't know if you can see the pointer, right in here, or right over here. And, we had a game. He left the dugout. I mean, he wasn't focused. I got everybody in that game minus him, because he left the dugout. He left his focus. I want you to be 100% game, not focused on everything else. But here's just a little seating chart. It's pretty accurate from us. So let's exit that. Let's come on back. And I mean, like I mentioned, how are we interacting? Like, you got to be able to interact positively with everybody that's at the games. Your own son, daughter, the coach, anybody that you come in contact with. Interact positively, even if it's a tough thing to do. No matter how your emotions are, because it's gonna come back and reflect, further than what you think it might. I mean, you know how they say you can't delete something permanently off social media and it's always there forever? Same thing will carry on. Okay? One college coach sees it, all the college coaches are going to end up hearing about it. It's never going to go away. Okay? So your interaction with the coach, body language, yeller, screamer, got that. After the game. Oh yeah, hold on. Before we go to after the game, I've been in developmental programs. And I love being a developmental coach. And we tend to not have too many wins. We probably have a few more losses than wins. But the thing is, too many people leave because they put too much weight on the wins. Honestly, I'm telling you this. If you're patient enough with that program, and you stick around, and you keep everybody to stick around, the wins are going to happen. I was always a part of those. When I was 16, I joined one. We were playing 18-year-olds in a league. Didn't know why, we didn't understand it at the time. But we spent that summer getting our teeth knocked in a little bit. And then we finished off the season with a 16U tournament. First time we played other 16-year-olds, our own age. We walked through that tournament, we won it. We're like, oh, okay. And then the next 2 years, majority of us stuck around. Yeah, we lost a few and we added a few. And then we started winning 20-plus games. We were competing in tournaments, doing really well. And made the semifinal of a pretty big tournament round. Almost made the finals. We were that close. It was awesome. But just also being a coach, like, when you see that, it becomes super tough because we want the wins, but we don't want to stick around until it happens. We want to get recognized now. We want to get recruited now, which I understand. But the wins are not going to get you recruited. We were in showcase tournaments this past summer, and he liked a couple of the kids that were on my team. Like I said, we won like one game in a tournament where we were always in the silver bracket, losers bracket. Well, there was still a scout at the silver bracket asking about my players. So I mean, they're still gonna find you, and they're still gonna find a way to recruit you, no matter what. Yeah, so I'm going to scroll over to right here. This is from another coach tweeting out. So, what is our future? Pros are quitting during games, aka Antonio Brown. Coaches quit on teams. Players choosing not to compete. NCAA players are always transferring. High school players call the AD when they don't play. Kids are on 3 travel teams in 3 years, yet people still defend these actions. Adults need to set better examples. I mean, it all stems back to us, right? As adults. What is the example that we are setting for our child, right? So, especially, like, okay, so after the games. I don't know what you guys' routine is and whatnot, but, you know, my dad was like always one of my coaches. He was always around. So he always saw me firsthand. And of course, I rode with him to games. If I had a poor game, I mean, you didn't need to tell me. I was already beating up myself, mad about my performance, and I was going to fix it and do better next game. I took my mistakes and I got better and I learned. And I told him, I'm like, nope, we're not talking about it. Tire way ride home. That was very poor grammar. I apologize for that. The entire ride home. Yeah, I mean, it could be a 2-hour trip. I was silent. We didn't talk. I told him, I'm like, yo, we're not. We're not talking about it. It's gonna be fixed next game. And that's the beauty of this game. You have a bad game, you pick yourself up, dust yourself up, and you get right back out there, and you do better. That's a great part of this game. Also, at home, what are we doing? What are we doing at home to reinforce this? Because, I mean, the coaches are not around to reinforce everything. Only for a small portion, maybe, of the day. But we need to, at home needs to be full of positivity. I know this world's tough. I know this world can eat you up and spit you out real quick. It can be brutal. We understand that. But it's not going to be fixed through negativity. Okay? It will never be fixed through negativity. We got to be our examples, right? Right? No. Yeah, he's in the no stage. No one stop stage. I love him. But we got to be their examples. the examples we set, the hard work that we set, okay, the accountability, responsibility, communication. Oh, now he's having fun looking at the camera. So we gotta be that example. So I know this little one, the second you slip up, he's gonna repeat it. He's at that stage now. So makes you weary of your language and your body reactions, but reactions to situations. And that's exactly how they're going to turn out. So we need to instill that hard work mentality, that accountability mentality in the home. Okay? And also, we don't realize when we're at the game, and sorry if you're a yeller, but you're gonna get your son or daughter unrecruited. Okay, that is a big check mark. I remember one time when I was playing in high school, my hitting instructor was with a D1 school, Cleveland State University, and he came to watch me play, and he saw me throw my bat and instantly checked me off because of my mannerisms. You know, I was a little fireball, but the same goes for the parent. Because they are recruiting a family. And they don't want that in their program if they're going to recruit the player. So here's another tweet. Assuming I take a college job, a college position in the future, I truly do not care about your exit velo, launch angle, etc. I will care about your desire to win, your passion for being a great teammate, and of course your ability to produce game-winning results. What I like about that quote is everybody wants to do what the pros are doing right now, which is high velo, high exit velocity, high launch angle to hit the home runs. But if you're not making contact with the ball, it's hard for these college coaches to want to take a chance because we're not doing the things that we need to win games. And the same goes for, parents, while we're at games. Hold on real quick. Nope, did not want to show that. I'm going to come back. What was it, this one? Oh, here's another one. I love this one. Average players want to be left alone. Good players want to be coached. Great players want to be told the truth. Nick Saban. One of the greatest to ever do it, right? I mean, I'm sick of seeing them in the national championship, but he is great, and you can't deny that. Let the coaches do their job. I don't think he's going to recruit anybody where the parent is out of their mind. Right? Because then that player right there is just going to challenge him, create a bad culture, and then guess what? He will either cut him or just straight up bench until he grows up. And that's how college is. That's really how college is. And also, last thing, our mindset. It's not D1 or bust. Okay? You don't need to go D1 to play college baseball or to potentially get drafted. And I'm going to show you this right now because we put too much pressure to make it to college baseball, but to be D1 or bust, right? D3, you can still get drafted. D2, you can still get drafted. NAIA, you can still get drafted. JUCO, you can still get drafted. You guys get drafted right out of high school. You don't need to be D1 or bust. And here's one thing. So we need to stop putting that pressure on our child. Okay? It is not D1 or bust. Work your tail off, get there. Okay? And then keep working. Keep working. Just came across Mike Piazza a few minutes ago. which I'll show you that in a second, but let's go to Billy Wagner. Okay, hold on, buddy. Billy Wagner. Okay. Billy Wagner went from a Division III to the MLB because he had a magic fastball. He threw about 98 miles per hour. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. It's a great article, so I can actually put this link up in the right below, okay? So you can actually go and read it. But he played Division III. Everybody was passing up on him because he was 5'8", 160 pounds, whatever. Even in his pro career, let's see if it scrolls over to him. Perfect. He was only 5'10", 180. I mean, that's not ideal size. Dude was throwing like 98 miles per hour. He is currently all-time on the saves list 6th. Once it scrolls down, oh, right here. 6th, Billy Wagner. I wish, nope, there it is. Highlight. 6th on the all-time list. Okay. Pretty impressive for a bunch of college recruiters counting him out because of his size. But he kept working, he kept working, he kept working. Right? Such a great story. So I will post that link real quick. Or when I get it up in ClickFunnels. Okay? So, Billy Wagner. And then... Okay. So I'm going to go back. And I apologize for the language in this video, but the message that the coach has is amazing. Okay, it's going to be that coach right there. He's a catcher. He was a catcher. Okay, and he helps out with the Padres underclass scout team. Okay, development over trophies. Sound up.
To be upset. Okay. All right. Now, that's what you have to understand about baseball. If you gave 100%, there's no reason to be upset. Okay. All right. Now, beginning of the game, we played like shit. If we get ourselves together sooner, we end up winning this game. Okay. You see how things turned around? How quickly they turned around? This is baseball. That's what happens. You can't get too high and you can't get too low. You guys understand that? You got to stay even because the game always evens itself out. Okay, you can't. This is not football. Okay, you can't get emotional and have success. Okay, you got to keep an even keel. Everybody know who Mike Trout is? Anybody out here better than Mike Trout? Okay, so what Mike Trout strikes out over 100 times a year. Okay, what does Mike Trout do when he strikes out? He takes his helmet off and hustles out to his position. Okay, again, all this stuff is part of the game. You guys are still learning. Okay, you're here to develop. We're not here to win tournaments. We're here to develop you guys to get you ready for the next level. Okay, stop getting caught up on. Okay, your days of going 3 for 4 every game are over. Okay, as bad as you feel today, if I'm a scout in the stands, I feel good about the way you played because even though you made those errors, you kept hustling on balls. Right? That's what scouts want to see. That's what's going to get you where you're trying to get to. You're not. Every scout knows you're not going to go 3 for 4 every game. That's not realistic. Okay, and that's not what they're looking for. Okay, they're looking for how you deal with adversity. That's what's going to separate you from other players. Okay, especially trying to get into college.
Because baseball.
I'm just going to exit out of that real quick. I mean, the message he just portrayed was exactly what we need to do and teach to our children. Learning how to work through the adversity. Learn to go through the adversity. Just hustle back on and off the field, whether you made a mistake or you made a great play. Stay even keel. Okay? Not too high, not too low. Okay? We need to instill that into our players. And I'm just going to finish up with this Mike Piazza. It's because I just heard Mike Trout's name. Mike Piazza. This is on my phone. I haven't transferred to my computer yet. So I'm going to kind of hold it up. Hopefully I get it up to screen very well. Okay. So I'm going to hold it up, and then I'm just going to turn it and read it here in a moment. Okay, so virtually what he's saying is nobody wanted me. Scouts told me to go to school and just to forget about baseball. Coaches said you're never going to make it. I appreciated their honesty, because I think when someone tells you something you may not like, you have to use that as fuel for motivation. Instill that. Right? Instill that it's okay to fail. It's learning. Instill that every single day. It's okay to fail. Life is not about success. It's about getting knocked down, but it's how you get back up and you respond. Like the coach said, you made the errors, but then what'd you do? You hustled on. You hustled back off the field. Hustled off. Hustled on. Right? That comes through at home as well. Okay, so thank you for your time. I did not. This is not to, pick on any single parent. We want better baseball. We want the kids to have a great experience while they play this game. And a lot comes at the home. Okay, a lot of it comes at the home, and we want to make it as great of an experience for our child to reach their goals. So we need to make sure we're doing our job as parents. Alright, so stay tuned. We got a lot more to come. This is the only parent course. You do got a little bit of homework, and I will make sure I get you that link for the Billy Wagner article.